I was gonna do this super cool transition of that, what you just saw, into, me explaining what it was about, only for the exact same thing to happen in my 50-minute video of this is why making videos is so exhausting. I'm fuming. Oh my god, you guys. I even put all my books back after I just brought them up here, and I just rambled on about them for an hour, and now all of that footage has no audio. So now I have to redo it. Don't mind me. This time, you get to see me holding all of them. Last time, you saw me holding only the 2 books. This time, you got to see me holding all the books. We do it again, except I'm probably not going to take as much time because I don't feel like going through that again. The amount of time I just spent on that. It's fine. So, yeah, I'm doing a May reading wrap up, basically kind of just explaining all the books I read in May. I DNF'd quite a few books this month, so we're going to talk about those as well. I'm not going to talk in as much detail as I did before because, I got off work at 6, was planning on, spending an hour on taking the video, then, a little bit more time editing that. Now it's 9 o'clock and, I have work tomorrow. And so it's like, what time to myself am I getting? So kind of mad about that, but it's fine. Anyway, first book I read was from April 23rd to May 1st, Alien Instinct. It was an alien romance book. I just kind of wanted something simple, easy. It was kind of really similar to, the plot was really similar to a lot of other alien romance books I've read, so it kind of fell flat, wasn't super unique. I did explain the plot before, now I don't feel like it. Basically, girl gets abducted and then, falls in love. Super simple, not really going into much more depth than that because I also didn't really like this book, so I gave it 2 stars. That was my first book that I read in May. The second book I read in May was Onyx Storm. I started reading this when it came out, which was January 21st, 2025. Finished this May 2nd, 2025. I gave this book 2 stars. Really liked the first 2. This book kind of fell flat. The smut scenes weren't great. Really a lot of cringy scenes, in my opinion. A lot of the characters' names I barely even remembered. So, yeah, this was not a favorite of mine. I went into way more depth in the other video, but alas, we don't have that. So, we're going super fast on this. Next book I read was The Raven Boys from the Raven Cycle. This is the first book. A coworker recommended it to me. It was pretty interesting. The writing style was kind of unique from what I was used to, so it took me a bit longer to read it. I started this book April 14th and I finished it May 5th. Gave this book 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It took me a while to finish it just because of how complex it was and kind of unique and different from what I was used to, and it was also the first physical book I read in a long time because I usually, for the past few years, I've just been listening to books. So, a bit of a change, but I did really enjoy this, and I will jump back into the series eventually. I'm just taking a break and kind of trying to read some other books that are maybe a little bit easier to kind of digest, which I've clearly been having issues with even still, but it's fine. Next book I finished / read in May was House of Flame and Shadow. In case you're wondering where I'm looking, I'm just looking at my phone. I have my Goodreads pulled up, so I'm just kind of going off of that. But yeah, next book I read was this guy. Hefty book. Luckily, I did not read this physically. I listened to this on Audible. This is almost 800 pages. It's crazy. Anyway, did not like this book. I started reading this book January 30th, 2024. Finished it May 6th, 2025. So, over a year took me to read this. I gave it 2 stars. And don't get me wrong, I love Sarah J. Maas. She's my favorite author. I quite enjoyed the first 2 books in this series. This one just didn't do it for me. Kind of similar to Onyx Storm. Like, a lot of the smut scenes were just kind of cringy. A lot of the characters I barely remembered. And then there was just like a lot of like things that happened that were just so similar to like her other books, like ACOWAR. Like, it just kind of felt like a repeat of that in like the last few pages, with like kind of all the conflict and war going on. And then like also like there were no stakes. Like, no one died, and I wasn't really even attached to the characters. Even if they were to die, like, I don't think I would have cared, which is crazy because I did enjoy the characters in the first 2 books. But yeah, this book, I don't know, it just wasn't it. I am probably gonna stop reading this series here. It ended kind of nicely, where it kind of felt like a conclusion to a series. So I'm happy to just leave it at that, and just kind of stay ignorant to what else comes out. The next book was a DNF book. Actually, the next 2 are. The first one is The Awakening, the first book of the Zodiac Academy series. I started it May 6th, 2024, and then I DNF'd it May 7th, 2025. So, about a year and a day, actually. Exactly. I just didn't find myself kind of wanting to go back to it, so I DNF'd it. Same thing with A Torch Against the Night, second book in An Ember in the Ashes series. I started this book a long time ago. April 13th, 2023. DNF'd it May 7th, 2025. Same day as the Zodiac Academy book. Same kind of thing. I really liked the first book. Well, at least I enjoyed it enough. This book, I don't know. I just didn't have an inkling to read it. Didn't really have a draw to it. So, after kind of like putting it off and being like, oh, I might get to it, I was just like, you know what? I don't feel like pushing through this, so I just went ahead and DNF'd it. Next book is The Twisted Love, or Twisted Love from the Twisted series. This book I started May 10th, 2025, finished May 11th, 2025. This I actually read in its physical form, and so I read this under 24 hours. I was very proud of myself for that. I gave this 4.5 stars. It was like a really good blend of romance and smut and plot. I think it was really good. Really good introduction into the series. I really enjoyed it. I'm not going to talk too much about the plot, just because you know why. But anyway, good book. I would recommend. I like this book. Whoops. Next book I read was the second book in the Twisted series, Twisted Games. This book I didn't like as much. I read from the same day that I finished Twisted Love, so May 11th, and I finished it May 13th. So 2 days rather than under 24 hours. It's pretty good. I gave it 3.5 stars. I wasn't a huge fan of the smut in this. I don't know if it was the vibe or how it was written. I just didn't really vibe with it. The plot, however, I was really interested in, and so I did really like the plot. So I gave it 3.5 stars. It's like a royal forbidden romance with a princess and her bodyguard. I really liked that idea of plot. But yeah, I just didn't really like how the smut scenes were executed. So yeah, that's that guy. Then we have Twisted Hate, the third book in the series. I read this from May 14th to May 19th, and I gave it 3 stars. I also forgot to mention with Twisted Games, I actually started listening to the audiobook because I didn't actually have the physical yet. Right after I finished Twisted Love, and then the next day I went directly to Indigo and bought Twisted Games because I had to get the physical and read it. Yeah, Twisted Hate. The thing with this one, I gave it a lower rating than Twisted Games, half a rating less. It's kind of like a weird thing. Like, this one, I like the smut more, but I didn't like the plot as much as I like the plot in Twisted Games. And that's why it's rated lower, because like I do appreciate the plot, and that's kind of what was like keeping me hooked. This one, I was like, at the end of Twisted Games, I was kind of just wanting to be over with it, and then throughout this whole book I was kind of just wanting to be over with it, and it kind of just started this like reading slump thing. I always thought reading slumps were just like where you didn't pick up books at all, and then I heard a booktuber talking about how you just don't resonate with books as you're reading them, and you feel like you're just not getting any enjoyment out of it. And I was like, wow, I never experienced that. I didn't know that's what a reading slump was. I always thought it was this. And now I'm experiencing it, and I'm like, wow, I'm actually experiencing this kind of reading slump. How interesting. Anyway, so that's kind of where I've been at for the past few days. But yeah, this book was pretty good. I did start annotating. This was with my new set I got from Amazon. I was really excited to do that. So I did annotate this book. I dedicated all of the tabs with like what they represent. And so there were two scenes in this book that were just I didn't like, but other than that, I liked it, so that's pretty good. The first one, I don't really want to repeat on YouTube. The second one, was the expression double, where you say, and then you eventually say double. It's just kind of cringy. I didn't like it, didn't like the execution. Not that it was even like verbally said, it was just kind of like an internal thought thing, but it's just weird to me. I didn't really like it, but still a pretty good book, so you know, there's that. Next book was another DNF. It's The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. I really liked the first book in this series, picked up the second book, and for whatever reason, was not having the same effect on me. This was another book I started a long time ago. I started June 10th, 2023, DNF'd it May 21st, 2025. So yeah, just wasn't getting the same vibe from the first book, so you know, I didn't feel like pushing through on that guy. There's Phantasma. This book was pretty good. A lot of these books I'm kind of just in this weird headspace, so like a lot of them kind of just like it was okay. But like I think if I were to have been in a different headspace, I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more. But yeah, I gave it a 3.8 stars on Goodreads. I started it May 7th and I finished it May 21st. This book I read on my Kindle and I used assistive reading to go by faster. The next book I also don't have the physical copy of. It is The Foxhole Court from the series All for the Game. I started this book May 22nd until May 26th. I read it on my Kindle as well as using assistive reading. I gave it 3 stars. This was recommended by my coworker. It's her favorite series. Thought I would give it a chance for her. It's about, I guess, like mafia plus this like made up sport called Exy. It's kind of cool, but definitely not like my type of book. I think I will continue the series. I'm just taking a break from it because it's, you know, not really my style. So I think the next books, I've heard that they get better. So, you know, we'll see. But yeah, it was enjoyable. It was okay. I definitely didn't have any strong feelings toward it or against it. So it's 3 stars. There wasn't really much, there was no romance. So, you know, I was kind of like, when is it? I know there's some of it, like, in the next books, but it's also kind of like, do I have to, you know, get through those in order to get to that? So, the whole thing. But anyway, I read that book. Then the next book, this is the last book, most recent book that I have read. It's Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This is my work book club book, our first book in our book club at work. I gave this a 3.5 stars. I started it May 21st, finished it May 27th. I also got the audiobook that's included in my subscription on Audible to just kind of fly through it because I got to a point in this book where I was like, I just want to finish it so that I can read other books and not have to worry about this book. So I think I'm like the first person to finish it in the book club, and I didn't really do that just for the sake of being the first one. I just, like I said, I just really wanted to read other books and enjoy other books, and I didn't want to have the pressure of having to finish this for the book club, so I was just like, I just want to finish it. So I just blew through it, and yeah, it was pretty good. I liked Mr. Darcy and Elizabeth Bennet's relationship. I wish there was a bit more romance included. Obviously, it's a classic, and not every book is just centered around romance. It just kind of has elements to it. So, there was that. And then it also follows Elizabeth's sister Jane and her romance with Mr. Bingley. Pretty good. I'm glad to have finally read a classic. It's not my favorite, but it was enjoyable. It was a little bit tricky to kind of get used to the older writing style, but the audiobook definitely helped in that department. So I was able to kind of just fly through it, and yeah, I'm glad I read it, but I'm excited to read some more books from my time. I did want to show the book I'm currently reading. I'm currently reading Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. the reason I wanted to include this was because I was thinking I was going to finish this before May, but I also wanted to record this video before the end of May. I'm obviously currently reading this book, so it's not going to be a part of my May wrap up. So I still wanted to include it. It'll be in my June one probably. But yeah, after I did read the first and the second book a few years ago, and then I never really felt a need to pick this up or like a desire to pick this up. But then Sunrise on the Reaping came out, and I really want to read that book. And I thought before I read that, I should probably finish the original series, and so that's why I picked up this guy in my book haul. And so yeah, I'm gonna finish this, and then once the new covers come out in Sunrise on the Reaping, then I will get it with the new cover and I will read it, and I'm excited for that. I'm on chapter 3, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I also am in love with the new covers that just came out. They're really, really pretty. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. So anyway, that was crazy. The recorded time on my first recording was 50-ish minutes. This one was 20 minutes. It's at 20 minutes right now. So I really, really reduced it because I'm just kind of angry at myself, and I didn't feel like spending that much more time, you know, doing that again. So it's a little bit faster. It should help the editing process as well. A lot less content to go through, so that'll be nice. But anyway, I'm definitely going to do a June wrap up as well, and so I will see you guys in that one. But yeah, I might also do I'm really thinking of doing a bookshelf tour. I think it'd be fun. I remember in the earlier years of BookTube, that was a pretty big thing. I think it would be fun. So I'm probably gonna do that soon. If not, then I will definitely see you for my June wrap up. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If not, that's okay. This is for me. I'm just happy to express my feelings to myself. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.